What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving a crash course on CAS. And the next week I'll try to make more videos like Arma support and UAV support and naval support as well. But I'll also be posting videos from DayZ, Arma 2 and 3, and Battlefield 2. I haven't got the third one yet on PC. I have it on Xbox, but I don't really mess with PC games too much besides Arma and Battlefield and DayZ. But besides that, I'll be bringing those titles, maybe a few more. And I haven't really been able to push to make videos just due to my work schedule. But hopefully that's going to change and I'll be posting more videos throughout the week. But like and subscribe. Hopefully you like them as much as I like making them. So anyway, enough rambling, let's get into this. So this aircraft here, the only fixed wing aircraft we have right now besides the UAVs, is the A143 Buzzard. It comes standard with 120 flares, 20mm Gatling cannon with 300 rounds, 2 ATGM scalpel missiles for ground vehicle targets. Then you got your 2 ASRAAMs anti-air. And then I think you also have the, you have the 2 GBU-12s, which if I'm not mistaken are 200-pound bombs. Not entirely sure. I'll have to look that up later. But that's pretty much it for fixed-wing aircraft. I will be doing videos for the UAVs, like I said, even though those are fixed-wing aircraft technically, but not manned. Anyway, the next vehicle we have is the Mi-48 Kajman, which is also known as the Black Shark. It's a 30mm caseless cannon, which is new to me. I've heard about caseless ammo, but this being a kind of a newer concept this day and age. But it comes with 500 rounds for that. You have the 38 Skyfires, which I think are like the dagger missiles for the Little Bird. And then you have the 8 ATGM scalpels as well for the ground targets again. Then you have this thing here, the H-99 Comanche. Well, they call it a Blackfoot in Arma, but the real name for it is the Comanche, so if you look it up online, that's what it is. The U.S. had a bunch of these being made. I'm not sure what happened with the program, why they scrubbed it, but I think they scrubbed it anyway. But if anybody knows anything, just kind of like, put in the comments what you know about it. But I think it got basically canked from our programs. Anyway, it comes standard with a 20mm cannon with 1,000 rounds. If I think I remember right, 24 dagger missiles and 4 anti-air. The missiles are basically in a pod that retracts and comes out when you need them to. But besides that, that's about it for this thing. Then you have your AH-9 Pawnee, aka Little Bird. That has 2 M134 miniguns on each side. They hold about 5,000 rounds, and they're 7.62, but I don't know what type of 7.62 they are. I'm a kind of a fanatic like that. I don't know if they're 7.62 by 39 or what have you, but I'm more of a fan by the 51s and 54s. But anyway, that's just preference. And then it also comes with the 24 dagger missiles. Now over here I have the Orca, and I see this more as a transport helo, even though it does have weaponry. I think that's more of a if something goes down where they have to basically, defend or clear out an LZ or something like that. I really don't see that as being more of a CAS helicopter than I do these over here. But I see it more of a transport chopper. But, it is what it is, and it still has weapons on it. So, let's see what weapons it has on it. I know it has a minigun and dagger missiles, but 2,000 for the Gatling, 12 daggers, 168 flares. Alright, so that's that. And, talking about this being a transport helo and also having weapons, this is the same thing, basically. But I think this is more of an offensive helo compared to that. Just because you can transport troops in this thing. But, look at all the armament it has in comparison to that. Even though, yes, it's more of a, it's a multi-role vehicle, which is great on all aspects. because this is just straight offensive, where this is just, this is offensive and transport. And I guess you can kind of say that about that as well, about the orca as well. But and it's just not to the full extent that the black shark is. So anyway, I put out some targets and put out some AI, and we're gonna go there and try to fuck them up as if we were getting caught on a CAS mission. Basically, I'm gonna go over like call signs, flight, basic flight anyway, marking coordinates in flight, multitasking, landing, rearm, refuel, and the roles that CAS plays and who they support. Basically anybody on the ground. Go figure, right? But basically, when you're taking a CAS mission, it's a little bit more than just getting some coordinates off of somebody. A lot of people think that's just pretty much it, but this is where my AI are. They're in the military bunker up on this hill. Now, say we have some guys down the I guess northeastest part of the hill. I guess that was what that would be. Yeah, I would say that'd be northeast, right over here. Anyway, I would say that I'd want a gun run to come in from southish, southwest, I guess. No, southeast, excuse me, to northwest. Is basically the way I'd want the aircraft to come. So it'd be coming in from this way, going up north, instead of coming from northeast to southwest. So it kind of helps to orient which type of direction that you want your aircraft coming from. But I'd also include what speed you're coming at and what direction. If they don't have a preference and they just spotted these guys and they're nowhere near that target, then just kind of let them know where you're coming from, like I said. And speed's not necessarily, but altitude could that could play a factor in it to a certain extent. But anyway, that's basically like why you want to get directions from your guys on the ground of where they need the ordnance and like what direction to come from. But unit call signs is very important even before you get off the ground, to know who's who on the battlefield and what obviously your call sign is for this aircraft. Know where your guys are in relation to your target, and that's pretty much it. And then also smoke. Smoke, any other type of targeting device, laser marker, anything really that can mark a target to make your life a little bit easier as a pilot and make your rounds on target more accurate. That's it's very important for the guys on the ground. But let's go ahead and get into this thing. Alright, I went ahead and got onto my aircraft, started it up with my Q key, and for me, and basically I think for everybody's standard startup is Q. So let's get in there. And then my right tail rotor for some reason still has flares attached to it, which I need to change, but I have to do that a little bit later. I managed to expend all my flares. Well, I can just do that now, actually. Alright, now my flares are expended. I can use my right tail rotor without any real interference or even popping flares by mistake. But the only reason I popped all my flares is because I know these guys do not have anti-air capability at all. And I just put them as basic guard force guys. Alright, so now that I'm up in the air, basically I used my S key to elevate myself. And you can use the W key to de-elevate. A and D will spin the aircraft whichever direction you want them to, as you can tell. And then the mouse is more of a multi-role. It can do a bunch of different things, so you kind of need to get used to that on your own, for the most part. Now, I set my marker up with the shift and click. Basically, that's the only method I know of, unless you guys know of some other ones. But I put a marker down for where the the op4 are going to be. So if you guys basically have a different way of marking, like giving out grid coordinates, this is how to do it if you don't know how. The grid itself, once you come in to a really tight zoom on it, 167 by 128, that would be pretty much the square for here if I remember right. I think it was just writing up. It's always with a map, just writing up. But just look at your grid coordinates on your, and that should tell you. I mean, I'd try to do 166 by 128. Should be this one. Or it could, if I gotta retake another class on this, but I think it's that one too. It could be either one of these. My bad. But I need to re-update myself on all this shit. Or you could just give a general direction by just saying 16, 13, 4-digit grid. Anyway, so now that we're back in my aircraft, I've gained some altitude and my speed's basically stabilized. So what I'm going to do now is since I have my target marked, I'm going to go ahead and come around to do a gun run on these guys. And I'm going to do the Gatling cannon first, 20 mil, followed by some GBUs and maybe some ATGMs. We'll have to see what we got time for, because I still got to get some rotary wing in. For me, doing CAS missions, I always like to have a little bit of altitude, so it gives me a little bit more time on target. That's just my preference. Once you get in the air and you start conducting your own CAS, you'll develop your own SOPs, which is Standard Operating Procedures, or TTPs, Tactical Techniques and Procedures. Techniques and Procedures, excuse me. You'll develop your own and how you want to operate, so it'll be all your preference. So I think we had some good rounds on target right there. We'll have to come back and we'll do one more run on these guys. And after we do that run, we'll go ahead and switch over to GBUs. Alright, so I think we had some good rounds on target there as well. Let's go ahead and switch over to our GBUs and see what we can do with these. For these, I usually like to come and get some altitude for these and come straight down and release them, so I know exactly where the bombs are going to fall. But some people are pretty good about reading the HUD right there, reading where the bomb is actually going to fall. But you know, to each their own, basically, however you want to do it. Pretty good effect on target. I just realized something. My landing gear has been down the whole time during this whole thing. Make sure you bring your landing gear up, or else you're gonna have a lot of drag. Let's do a flyover and see what we've done to these guys. There's another roll of CAS you can also observe for your guys as well. Or you can do a dry run. Just kind of observe and see what the terrain actually looks like before you come in for a run. Looks like I got 3 or 4, maybe 5 left over. So I'm going to go ahead and land this puppy and go ahead and get some fixed wing aircraft. Like I said, I'm about to do the rotary wing, excuse me, and I'm going to go ahead and do my in-flight multitasking so I can get the tip of the runway and go ahead and land this puppy. Alright, as you can see, we touched down fairly smooth, and we're out to get these rotary wing going. Alright. That's that. That's fixed wing aircraft. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab this little bird here and see what we can do on those guys. Alright, so now we got our miniguns, and we also have our rockets. Basically the same principles. A and D tilts the aircraft left and right. S makes you rotate upwards, elevate, and W makes you de-elevate. Alright, now Q makes your rotors increase thrust, propels you upwards. Quite the opposite for Z. And once again, your mouse kind of does the same. It's a multi-role tool. So, alright, let's see what we got left over for these guys. I think they're hiding behind a lot of those structures over there is what I think. I got one out of there. They're trying to hide underneath that damn tower. Let's do some flyby real quick. Honestly, I think that's all though. Nope, there's one down there. Yeah, we can deal with him real quick. Oh, he's actually popping rounds at me. Let's see if we can actually find out where he's hiding. Now this is what will come into play for a little bit larger rear-wing CAS aircraft, is the thermals on the gunner seat that actually come into a big play on here. I actually don't see this guy. Make one more pass, and if we don't see him or get him, we'll go to the next area. I think we got him that time. That was some risky. That was a risky move on my part, though. Really wanted to get him, though. Yeah, that got him. Alright, now, usually, what I would do for a CAS mission... Whoa, kind of had too much zoom there. What I would do for a CAS mission is, do what they call a BDA, a battle damage assessment. Once I think the area is clear, we can do a quick flyover. If you can't see anything, then I think you've pretty much done your job. So I think it's clear on that one. I think we can move to the next one. But I think this time, I think we're going to go get a different aircraft. kind of a new feature on the little bit larger aircraft for rotary wing is that even though that like the pilot may get killed, the co-pilot can also take up the controls for the helo, which is a great new asset to the pilots that play on Arma. Alright, since we're rolling, I'm going to go ahead and set my next marker. Now, I'm using these a little bit larger hills and more open area for these CAS missions just to demonstrate, but note that it's not always going to be like this. There's always going to be larger cities like that, and you know, your guys are going to always be spread out. Not necessarily all the time, but a good majority of the time, you're going to have units in different places, doing different things and taking different objectives or working on different sites. So you kind of got to know where your guys are at to definitely put the fire where it needs to be, you know, at. Alright, let's see. I think I see a couple of them. I think we definitely put some good rounds on target, but let's put some rockets on there. I think those are impacting a little bit low. And I just made a fatal mistake right there. I overcompensated for a rocket that a guy that I just saw. You never really want to do that, just in case there are friendly units in the area. You don't want them to have to worry about you laying fire on them. But that was just a mistake on my part. There's those flares again on my right rotor, or my right tail. Now at this point, I would also have my gunner be scanning for more targets, which is a little bit easier for him since he does have that thermal capability. You can kind of see it right here in the top left of my screen. But you know, it's a little bit easier for him to pick out these targets than it is necessarily the pilot, which is a very easy thing for him to do, is just mark them for you. this point, I know there's no friendlies in this area, so I'm just going to go ahead and light up this hillside and see if I can find out where the rest of these guys are. Alright, there's my freaking anti-air, which I'm not going to even use that. Go ahead and land. I was actually trying to land right then, but let's go ahead and land and see what we can find out over here for a BDA. We'll never do this as a pilot in real life, but I just kind of want to see the effects that I had on this target. I'll probably end the video off of that after I do this PDA. But that's basically it for CAS. Not much to it. As long as you know where your guys are and where the target is, pretty much good to start lighting people up. But it is very important to know where your guys are at first and foremost. Guy's hurting pretty bad. There's a couple on deck, guys. Don't see too many other dead guys, unless they like despawned or something like that. I have no idea. And that guy's not despawned, so these guys shouldn't be. There's another one. Alright guys, well, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other guys around here, honestly. The one stray rocket that I did fire was over in this direction. I don't know where that guy went off to. There's another one down there. Anyway, dead one anyway. But I think that's it for me today, guys. That's basic CAS, and that's it. We'll see you guys later.